Welcome to Celestial Insights, a weekly podcast that brings the stars down to earth. I'm your host, astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks. My purpose is to provide practical, unique, and insightful guidance to help you navigate the energies of the week like a boss. Hello, this is Celeste of Astrology by Celeste, and on this episode, I will discuss the astrology for July 7th, 2024. First, let's take a look back at some astrology in action. The presidential debate on June 27th occurred 2 days before Saturn stationed retrograde in Pisces. Saturn rules the elderly. It also rules chronic things that reduce vitality. Saturn and Mars are the malefics, and they take away from life. And retrogrades are an affliction where there's difficulties, disagreements, and potential for reversals. And Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, and its ruler is Neptune in modern astrology. And there can be disillusionment and disappointment. From the moment the debate started, it was a disaster for Joe Biden. He shuffled out slowly, very Saturnian. And Pisces rules the feet, and it was almost like he could barely pick his feet up and shuffle to the podium, and it was very hard to hear, and he was very hoarse. And Pisces is a water sign, and water signs are mute. He also did not make sense at times and lost his train of thought, so was very Piscean. I mean, you would be hard-pressed to pick a worse time for the debate for him. And if you go back, you can listen to the Temptation Island podcast, where I talked about how the moon was moving away from Saturn to Neptune in Pisces. So moving away from fear and disappointment to outright disillusionment. And the word of the day was stunt. And by the end of the debate, watching CNN, when John King came on and just talked about how the Democratic Party was very disillusioned and in panic mode with Pisces energy, you can just spreads this emotionality very quickly. And they were calling for him to be replaced. And the next day, the word of the day for Friday was perhaps. And again, on the news all day long, they were talking about perhaps the Democrats should replace him. Yeah, and I wrote a post on Instagram called An Uncivil War, so you can go look at that, where I gave my hot take on, how bad the debate was, and that behind the scenes they're going to be trying to replace him. So Saturn stationed on Joe Biden's very near his IC, which is opposite the midheaven, which is the career point. So he's getting pressure from outside himself to exclude himself from the election. And Mars in Taurus is moving to meet Uranus at 26 Taurus on the fixed star Algol, which is a beheading star. So like taking yourself out as well, losing your head. And it's happening opposite his sun in Scorpio. And the sun is the identity. And Mars and Uranus are meeting in his sixth house. And the sixth house is the work we do for the money we make. It's our daily routines and disciplines. It's things that go wrong with our health. It's toil and burdens and all of that sort of thing. So the sixth house is a house of bad fortune. And having this transit opposite his sun, like Mars attacks. So people are like behind the scenes, we know this is what is going on, is that there's a lot of anger and directed energy in order for him to, Uranus rules sudden breaks and reversals, to step down so they can, have a better candidate. Now, this transit perfects on July 15th. So if he is going to, we'll probably see him step down before that time. And on the flip side, Donald Trump did much better than expected. He showed more discipline than he usually does and did not act as emotionally driven as he normally does. Natally, he has his moon conjunct his south node in Sagittarius. And when people have a planet conjunct the south node, it can be somewhat of a drain. And so you can get stuck in your south node. And the moon rules emotions. So he is known for getting stuck in emotional responses. But another thing with Sagittarius energy on the shadow side, it can be a storyteller who makes up things and tells a bunch of untruths. And it was reported he said something like 30 lies during the debate. You can go look at factcheck.org or other sources on the news that are reputable to find out, what he said was untrue for your own education. Americans psychologically need to have a leader that they feel is strong. And given the two of them on that stage, Donald Trump looked a lot stronger than Biden, and voters in polls after the debate said they felt Trump won the debate. Now, a debate is not an election, but it's a big deal. And the Republican National Convention starts on July 15th. And Mars and Uranus are meeting at Donald Trump's midheaven. Mars rules competitions and Uranus can bring reversals. It would make sense that the person he's competing against is not who he thought it was because of Biden stepping down. That could totally be in line with this transit. Now, it could also be that he picks a running mate that really surprises people for the competition. An election is a competition. And Uranus also rules elections. And that could be what symbolically we're going to see. But we're going to see something Uranian happening at the Republican National Convention that is of the nature of a shock and awe, a reversal, or something like that. Also of note, something that makes me think Joe Biden's really going to drop out. When he announced his candidacy on April 25th, 2023, Mercury in the sky was retrograde in Taurus, opposite his Scorpio stellium. And this, to me, again, suggests that oppositions come in through other people, that this reversal will be the result of other people pushing him to make a change on his decision. And the drumbeat got louder and louder for him to step down after the Supreme Court essentially gave Donald Trump complete immunity. We shall see what happens, but the United States is in its Pluto return, and Pluto takes about 250 years to go around the natal chart. So this is the first Pluto return for the United States, and it's commonly a time where there are massive changes in countries, and Pluto breaks things down to the studs in order to be rebuilt. It exposes the rock. It has a mass influence. And in the United States chart, Pluto is in the second house of values. And does the United States value democracy and its formally held belief that no one person is above the law? Or is that going to change? These are the things that are being discussed in the news. I'm excited to be a faculty member for the Organization of Professional Astrology's retreat in Park City, Utah from October 16th through 21st. I will be teaching a moon mastery intensive over 3 days. This is going to be intimate, where there will be no more than 9 participants. You'll learn everything about the moon and her cycles to deepen your understanding of your natal chart. We will delve into the past, the present, and what's going to be coming up in the future so that you can use the energies in order to achieve your goals. You can also bring a chart of someone else with their permission. If you want to join, do not hesitate. Sign up today because there are limited spots. I would love to be your guide as you deepen your understanding of our beautiful lunar teacher. The theme of this week is Severance package, and there are three big things I want you to think about as you navigate this week. The first is that Jupiter, planet of expansion and abundance, is conjunct the fixed star Aldebaran at 10 degrees of Gemini for most of this week. Aldebaran is one of the royal stars of Persia, and there are four of them. Aldebaran at 10 Gemini, Antares at 10 Sagittarius, Regulus, formerly at 29 Leo, but now it's moved to 0 Virgo, and Fomalhaut at 4 Pisces. So when you see someone with a chart that has one of these royal fixed stars within a degree on either side, it's something to take note of because they are amplifiers that magnify the planet or the chart points, like as well as ascendant, midheaven, and what have you. And each of them has a nemesis, which can bring about the downfall. So for Aldebaran, it's success through integrity. And if someone has a planet conjunct Aldebaran acts out of without integrity, they can find themselves having a fall from grace. It bestows popularity, intelligence, eloquence, power, and wealth. Rainmakers, but success may not last. It's the watcher of the East. It used to mark the spring equinoxes. So these 4 stars marked the equinoxes in the past, but there's something called the progression of the equinoxes that the degrees have moved. So anyway, that you don't need to know that. But Archangel Michael is associated with this fixed star. And also the god Mithra, who was the slayer of the cosmic bull and the lord of contracts. So with Jupiter is a benefic, and Jupiter on Aldebaran, that can be very fortunate. And success in large, noble projects is something that Bernadette Brady in her Stars and Planets book calls out. This book is on my list of recommended books. This really jumped out at me, that maybe there'll be some news about contracts. And with Jupiter, you can think of some things that Jupiter rules: judges and professors, horses, the uber wealthy. Something about contracts where someone did not act in integrity makes big news, or there's like a success after a long journey. I've got the thought about the infrastructure project in the U.S., like maybe some big news about something very exciting that's going to be moving forward. We shall see. The next thing I want to make you aware of is that Venus, the planet of love, beauty, and harmony, enters the sign of Leo. And the song associated with this that came to me is COVET by Beyonce. I love the video. It has so much red in it. And Venus in Leo, a dynamic fire sign. Leo is like that inner child energy that's very playful, dynamic. Venus and Leo, girls just want to have fun. Also that Cyndi Lauper song. This is a great time to do things where you're out with either friends or your lover and you are just having a good time, dancing like no one's watching, laughing out loud, this sort of thing. Now, Venus enters Leo, and then the first thing it does is oppose Pluto. And this gives me the energy of triangulation, like 3 people involved in something. Like you're having so much fun, and then all of a sudden your partner is looking at another person, and oh, now we've got a problem where Leo can be dramatic, and it can be like this power struggle, Pluto's power struggle energy, and maybe even like a fight or some kind of manipulation. And Venus enters Leo right after a trine with Neptune. So this could also be another way this could be is like Venus trine Neptune. Neptune dissolves. The relationship is over. We kissed and said goodbye. That song, Let's Just Kiss and Said Goodbye. It was all very tearful. But the next day you wake up and you've got a new attitude. And with the opposition to Pluto, you realize you are happy that that relationship ended, even though you didn't realize it, a couple of days before or whatever. Like you cried your last tear when Venus was trine Neptune. And now you are ready to go out and have fun. You are single. You are ready to mingle. And that Plutonian energy is just awakening you to the fact that the only reason you were sad about it, Pluto in Aquarius, was because the societal pressure, Pluto in Aquarius, to be in a relationship. But, your life is so much better now that you are free. The last thing I want to make you aware of is that there is a first quarter moon at 22 degrees of Libra on Saturday. And this is an important first quarter moon because it's on a world point. The world points are 0 and 22.5 degrees of cardinal signs, 15 degrees of fixed signs, and 7.5 degrees of mutable signs. So when you see a planet or an angle activated by a transit, or if someone has it in their natal chart, there suggests there's something of the nature of it that gets a lot of attention. And so I think there's going to be something that gets a lot of attention in the news. Now, first quarter moons are times of taking action. And this one can be very exciting and explosive. There's potential for breakthroughs because Mars and Uranus are within a degree of conjunction. So We Don't Need Another Hero by Tina Turner is the song that came to me with this. Also, Party of Four, Seinfeld, Party of Four, that episode from the Seinfeld show. I also wrote down Shirley and Chinese Laundry. So we'll see. Every time Uranus is activated, when it's usually the sun in Uranus, when the United States sees these Chinese spy balloons coming through, it'll be really interesting. The sun is at 22 Cancer and the moon at 22 Libra. So the sun is very close to Mercury of the United States. And for the lunar phase family, the new moon of this cycle was the solar eclipse at 21 degrees of Libra on October 14th last year. On Saturday, July 13th, we have the sun in Cancer and the moon in Libra both at 22 degrees. The full moon of this phase, the sun in Aries, the moon in Libra both at 23 degrees on April 12th, 2025. And the last quarter moon, the sun in Capricorn, the moon in Libra, January 10th, 2026, both at 20 degrees. So look back to last October, and was there a story that started in your life? For the country of Israel, which has an ascendant at 23 degrees of Libra, a week before this was the terrorist attack that led to the war that's still ongoing. On June 25th, which was the date of a disseminating moon in Aquarius, and disseminating moons is when information is shared. The Supreme Court of Israel said that the Israeli government must enlist draft-age ultra-Orthodox Jews into the military. And they had been exempt since the country was founded. And Aquarius is the sign of the collective. So saying that even though these people are ultra-Orthodox, they have to serve in the military for Israel. And that is a reversal of a policy. This was happened right before Saturn and Neptune stationed to go retrograde. That's reversals. Also, Mercury was sextile Uranus. So thousands of Orthodox Jews were in the streets saying that they would not enlist. Saturn rejects. They would not accept this reversal. And Neptune rules religion about this religion's forgiveness, exemption in order to enlist in the army. Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense. 9 months after the war started, the country is looking for more soldiers. These things can come in a couple weeks before or after these pivot points. The sun in Cancer, at 22 Cancer, the tarot card is the Four of Cups. And this is a card that has a person sitting. They have 3 cards behind them. Someone's trying to hand them a fourth, and they're kind of ignoring them. It can suggest apathy or boredom. But I like it as a card of discernment. Your cup is already, you have so much going on that you don't necessarily want to take on anything else. The Sabian symbol is the meeting of a study group or literary society. So I'm getting meeting minutes and propaganda, something being leaked with Venus opposite Pluto. Pluto can expose things. And the moon in Libra at 22 Libra, the Four of Swords is a tarot card, and it looks like someone laying in a coffin, like a soldier laying in a coffin. But this is about a need to rest, take time out, especially to avoid burnout. And it suggests you're so tired, like you really have to take some time down. The Sabian symbol is a Chanticleer's voice heralds the rising sun with enthusiastic tones. So this could be new opportunities, new leaders, as the sun rules leaders. That's where I got severance packages for, like a corporate CEO says goodbye, or it's like a wake-up call is also the Sabian symbol, brings imagery of roosters or cocks. So notice if you see any of those around this time. I see the message of this first quarter moon as being discerning about what you take on. With water and air, you may be getting an intuitive message, water, that translates into words, air, telling you to decline something. Don't ignore it. It could be very noisy because the South Node is in Libra, telling you, like, just don't go along to get along or to look good. It's clearing out these Libra shadow energies. If you are embarking on a new journey, experiencing a major life event, feeling stuck, trying to make a difficult decision, or just looking to make positive changes, astrology can provide life-changing insights. There are several ways to work with me. You can come for a 30, 60, or 90-minute astrology consultation depending on your needs. Ask me a burning question and I'll record a video for you. Engage in longer-term cosmic success coaching where we work together on a 3-month basis to help you overcome blocks, improve your life satisfaction, build better relationships, accomplish your career goals, and understand yourself better using the tool of astrology. Or mystic mentoring if you're an aspiring astrologer and want help with chart analysis techniques. Go to astrologybyceleste.com to check out my offerings. If you have any questions, you can email me at celeste@astrologybyceleste.com. On Sunday, the word of the day is spicy. The moon is in Leo as we start the week, and midday Pacific time, the moon meets Mercury and then sextiles Jupiter in Gemini. So I think this is energy for fun and snappy conversations that may be a little spicy. Leo is dramatic. So I really love the energy on this day. On Monday, the word of the day is ooh la la. On this day, Venus, the planet of love, beauty, and harmony, will sextile Uranus, the great awakener that brings shocks and awe. Now, Uranus is on 26 Taurus, Algol, that fixed star that has associations around women who will not be subservient. And it's really interesting because Uranus right now is opposite the asteroid Lilith. And Lilith was Adam's first wife who would not be subservient and lay under him and left the Garden of Eden. And Lilith is one of the imageries of that fixed star Algol. So it'd be really interesting to see what happens of a nature of a woman doing a shocking thing, maybe that was unexpected or some kind of reversal. Yeah. There could also be unexpected breakups or surprise gifts. When Venus and Uranus are talking, expect surprises. Brainstorming in collaboration could bear surprising fruit. Yeah, Uranus can bring brilliant ideas. Mercury in Leo is sextile Jupiter on this day as well. They're both at 9 degrees and Jupiter's on Aldebaran. Aldebaran is also the bullseye star. So you may see with this activated, sometimes you'll see people with one eye covered, like with a patch on their eye or a black eye or something going on with an eye. But I think when Mercury and Jupiter are talking, this could be like really expansive ideas. Now, neither planet likes to be in the signs they're in. So try not to remember to not forget the details. This is like someone's having a big event and they forget the napkins or something like that. Yeah. And Mercury's also trying the North Node. So if you meet someone who's Jupiterian, Jupiter also rules benefactors, like someone who wants to help you or give you a hand up in your work. That could be something that happens on this day. Yeah, when Mercury's trying the North Node, they're both at 10 degrees. So Mercury in Leo, North Node in Aries. Could be very dynamic energy where like the North Node is the North Node of destiny, like putting you on your path. You may just need to open your mouth and have the courage, Leo, to make a request of Jupiter, and it can bring like a raise. Venus sextile Uranus. I'm wanting a raise. I'm asking for a change, Uranus, in my salary, Venus. Yeah. Now, it could also be uncomfortable. The moon squaring Mars and Uranus. There could be something uncomfortable on this day. But also, ooh la la could be like meet cute. Venus sextile Uranus. You meet someone unexpectedly and a new relationship is formed. I wrote down, there's a song called Ooh La La by Britney Spears, but I'm hearing the other song in my head. Ooh la la la, that's the way it starts. Da 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 da. I can't remember who sings that. Anyway, on Tuesday, the word of the day is worry. So say you met someone at the grocery store with the moon in Leo and you're feeling so good and confident. On Tuesday, the moon enters Virgo at 6:47 a.m. Pacific time. Virgo's mutable earth. Now you start to worry. Are they going to call me? Are they not? And you start picking yourself apart. Well, maybe that person thought I was to this, to that, da 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 da. So just catch yourself if you find your mind going into like all this analyzing or analysis paralysis. There's a waxing crescent moon at 12:53 p.m. Pacific time that may help you see the light of how you let emotions, sun in Cancer. Cancer is a water sign, emotional, and moon in Virgo, the sign that can be on the shadow, overly critical. You can see the light about how you use your mind in order to, Mercury rules Virgo, like kind of to a negative disadvantage. Now, I love a Virgo moon. It's a great time to get organized, bring order to chaos, and all of those sorts of things, but that's just an image I got. Now, Jupiter in Gemini is sextile the North Node in Aries. Sextiles are opportunities. So there's an opportunity for freedom with this energy. Yeah, freedom and expansion. And maybe that's like the phone rings and you get a DM on Instagram from the same person after you get out of a meeting and you've worried for nothing. On Wednesday, the word of the day is melting. The sun in Cancer is trine Saturn retrograde in Pisces. They're both at 19 degrees. The sun spotlights and illuminates things. Saturn is limitations, controls, and boundaries and consequences, delays. Saturn is also the grim reaper. And so with the sun, which can be a leader, and Saturn talking, with the Severance package being the title of the podcast, this to me as well could be a CEO telling the team that I'm leaving the company. I wrote down, does shyness hold you back? Like Sun Saturn can be, oh, I feel I'm not good enough in order to do something or something like that. And it's for emotional reason with the Cancer and the Pisces. Can you move away from that and have the courage with Mercury and Leo to maybe speak up in a meeting or say hello to a stranger or something like that? And I wrote down melting because I got ice melting. There may be a spotlight on how global warming and heating up is melting the ice caps or something like that. On Thursday, the word of the day is balmy. On this day, Venus in Cancer is trine Neptune retrograde at 29 degrees of Pisces. So Venus trine Neptune, as I said earlier, this can be very, very sensitive around a relationship. This could be you've been on 3 dates with the person you met at the grocery store and you are feeling like you are in love. Venus trine Neptune could be the fantasy. Now, it also could be something about the ending. So then, whatever. Let's just go with, for this point, the fantasy. And then Venus enters Leo on this day, and it'll be there until August 4th. And this is like you go out dancing for the first time. And oh, you guys have a blast. It is so much fun. The moon enters Libra at 7:06 p.m. Pacific time. This could be a great for couples dancing. Libra is the sign of I partner. It rules relationships. I'm getting Beyonce's song about this ain't Texas, ain't no Hold'em. Texas Hold'em, yeah. And you're square dancing to this song, and you are just having a great time, and it's balmy. There's a hot, windy breeze out there. Mercury is sesqui-square Neptune. And, I hope you just have an amazing time. Now, if you broke up and you realize, I'm so happy that we broke up, maybe you go out dancing with your girlfriends or boyfriends or whoever, and you have a fantastic time. On Friday, the word of the day is covet. Venus in Leo opposes Pluto in Aquarius, both at 1 degree. I wrote down 3 is a crowd. There can be some stimulation of jealousy, the green-eyed monster. Like maybe somebody sees you and you're out dancing again, and somebody tries to cut in with you and dancing with your partner, and you have to get Venus and Leo and Sasha Fierce and put them in their place and tell them, no, you are not cutting in. We are dancing, the two of us. Yes, we are. Now, also, if you have a volatile partner, I really want people to be mindful about domestic violence, because with Mars and Uranus coming to a conjunction, this could be explosive. Like, you could be out with your jealous partner and somebody looks at you and then they're all giving you the business about it. So hopefully that's not something someone experiences. On Saturday, the word of the day is decisive, when we have the first quarter moon at 22 Libra on that world point at 3:48 p.m. Pacific time. First quarter moons are time to take action. Choice points and decisions. There may be some big event, but who makes the first move? Sun in Cancer square moon in Libra. Sun in Cancer coming from an emotional place. This could be like your mother, Cancer, tells you, what are you going to propose to your partner? Or when is your partner going to propose to you? And so what I wrote down, noisy, but maybe it's somebody being nosy asking you about your relationship. That could be something that goes on that day, but we'll see. And I'll bring you the topics that I think really speak about the astrology on the next podcast. So that's it for this week's episode. Feel free to email me at celeste@astrologybyceleste.com with any astrology and action stories, or let me know how the daily themes are playing out for you. Take care, and I'll catch you next week. Thank you for listening to Celestial Insights. To learn more about my work, please visit my website, astrologybyceleste.com, where I offer personal readings, horary consultations, cosmic coaching, group events, and classes to help guide people to higher levels of fulfillment. You can also find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook at Astrology by Celeste. If you enjoyed Celestial Insights, please help others find the show. Follow, rate it 5 stars, or write a nice review. I would so appreciate it. I'm astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks, and I'll be back next week.